Four Kings catches Lucifer creeping and surrounds him, forcing him into fighting. Lucifer gave 4K a beating, but still didn't have the ziggurats to rebuild his army. The final battle was lopsided, as Lucifer had to fight off two 60-food armies without Moon's help. Four Kings won the match in a trip to the upper bracket finals. Seed, what was the key to 4K's victory?
The big thing for Four Kings is that they have one default loss with Zeus or Fury, whoever's playing. So out of their 3 good 1v1 players and their 2v2, they need 3 victories. In this case, with the 2v2 win, it means that one of their three good 1v1 players can lose. In this case, Creo lost to Moon, and they can still pull this victory off. Because they're 3 top players, the only one person who can beat them is Moon. They're pretty much guaranteed 2 1v1 points, so if they pick up that 2v2 point, then they're going to win.
If they were to play again, what do you think would happen?
I think it's the same kind of thing's just going to keep on happening. The 2v2 was very close, so Meet Your Makers could upset them, but I do think that Four Kings is the stronger 2v2 team. Now, it could be even worse for MYM. If Moon gets paired up with Zeus, then Todd, Grubby, and Creo could all win against MYM's weaker players, and it could go 4-1 for Four Kings. Just before the WC3L LAN final started, Deadman was kicked off of the SK roster. Now, the reason for this was there were multiple incidents in where Deadman was smoking when he shouldn't, both in the SK offices and in a rental car. It ended up with a couple of fights between the management and Deadman, and SK decided to drop Deadman from the team. Thankfully, Insomnia did lay down the law during those fights, so no one was actually hurt. Now, Civilian, who do you think is at fault in this situation?
To be the devil's advocate for Deadman, it seems like, he's the best player on SK and he's smoking in the SK offices. They should give him some slack there. I mean, come on. Now, smoking in the rental car, fighting with the manager, that's not as acceptable. Now, it could have been that Deadman was just having a bad day, and it seems like the manager should be able to, manage this team a little bit better. But when it comes down to it, Deadman threw the first punch. It's his fault.
Now, SK's reaction to this was to both kick Deadman off of the team and to hold his contract for the rest of the year so he can't join any other team. What do you think about SK's move there?
I don't like it. I play a lot of cardboard computer games where the worst penalty that you can get is that you have to leave. And holding him longer, that seems like a bitch move. Not to mention, who's going to even hire Deadman right now? It seems like he may not get a clan to play on immediately.
Now, SK's chances in the WC3L finals were low coming in. Now, without Deadman, what do you think the odds are of them winning a match?
Not a shot. But, they will stay in WC3L, and they can, continually win in the qualifiers to stay in WC3L, but they're not going to ever have a good chance against the big guys in WC3L until they get another top player.
Next is Shroak Commando trying to pull off the upset against Meet Your Makers. Game 1 starts off with a bad creepjack on X-Lord by Lin. Rather than rashly town portaling, X-Lord runs out, only losing 1 ghoul. The game took a long time to develop as it was cross positions on Nullwood. Lin gets the early advantage by creeping the golems with a tower. In return, he gets his own rock golem. X-Lord starts a fight 14 minutes into the game and catches the Blade Master sleeping. Even though the Death Knight is forced to town portal, X-Lord is up by 15 food. X-Lord pushes his advantage and finds the Tauren Chieftain at the fountain. Without either hero, Lin looks to be in trouble. As X-Lord goes into Lin's base to take down the altar, the Frostworms don't have the Frost Breath upgrade. Instead of stopping the altar from resurrecting Lin's heroes, the Blade Master is resurrected. Things start to go downhill for X-Lord as his Frostworm falls to the Wyvern. He then loses both destroyers again to Wyvern. When he returns 7 minutes later, things get even worse as he loses almost his entire army, including his Death Knight, but he does manage to kill the Blade Master. Things quickly change as X-Lord catches Lin's Tauren Chieftain without mana or air support. Without any heroes, Lin has to say GG. Game 2 begins with X-Lord taking out burrows in Lin's base. He successfully takes out 2 burrows and a grunt, a huge advantage, but he loses 3 ghouls on his way out. Despite the early disadvantage, Lin gets a surround on the Death Knight to take the lead. Although X-Lord's surround on the Tauren Chieftain appears to even up the game, Lin's expansion keeps him firmly in the lead. While their next battle ends with both players losing their entire army, Lin's expansion lets him recover considerably faster. They remain evenly matched through the next battle except for Lin's dual level 5 heroes compared to X-Lord's level 5 and level 2 heroes. The expansion proves to be too much for X-Lord, and Lin takes down the Death Knight to even up the series. Game 3 on Echo Isles, X-Lord goes human, before asking if he can change the map 2 minutes into the game. Map changes are not allowed. After an uneventful creep fest, they both decide to fight with 50 food armies. But instead of X-Lord buying healing scrolls, he sits on 700 gold. Without the healing, the Tauren Chieftain easily takes out all of the militia. Lin notices that X-Lord has no town portal and rushes into his base, going for the kill. X-Lord doesn't have the firepower, and he can't even reach some of the units attacking his main base. Lin barely takes it out before he town portals. X-Lord desperately rushes to attack Lin. The attack proves futile as the Tauren Chieftain evades his surround. Lin gives World Elite a 1-0 lead with his victory over X-Lord.
Insomnia against Rain, Game 1 on Secret Valley starts off with the fast expansion by Insomnia, which is heavily contested by Rain. A surround on the Death Knight using a farm gets Insomnia the time he needs to get his towers up. Rain's attack on Insomnia using gargoyles forces Insomnia to go old school. I haven't seen Rifle Caster against Undead in ages. Rain goes after the Mountain King and gets the kill. At the same time, Insomnia just misses the all-important Death Knight surround. Insomnia's riflemen dominate Rain's gargoyles and destroyers. If it wasn't for Rain's abominations, the game would be over. Insomnia quickly adds a few griffins to his army to counter the abominations. At this point, Rain doesn't have the time or the money to counter that magic damage. Insomnia successfully brings back riflemen to win Game 1. In Game 2 on Twisted Meadows, Insomnia elected not to fast expand. Instead, he teched straight to Tier 3. As both players teched hard, there were no real battles until both players hit Tier 3. In the first major battle, Rain wins the air, but at the same time, he allows Insomnia to win the ground battle. Rain wins the next battle handily and starts raking in the hero kills. Despite having fairly equal armies, Rain has a huge advantage because of the hero kills. At the very close battle, Insomnia runs out, but he loses a hero on the way out. Insomnia never seems to have the right army combination. Here he is countering the abominations, but he doesn't have the flying machines to counter the Destros. Insomnia does manage to make a significant comeback, killing 20 food worth of Destros with flying machines. But again, it comes down to losing heroes as the Archmage gets sniped despite Insomnia's superior army. Even though Insomnia has 5 griffins, his flying machines lose to Rain's destroyers. Now Insomnia has no gold mine and no way of even attacking the destroyers. Rain finishes it just as it started with 2 more hero kills, bringing the total up to 6 hero kills in the game. Game 3 on Echo Isles showed off Remind's incompetent harassment. He successfully kills 1 water elemental, no peasant kills, and no creep steals. As Insomnia creeps his expansion, Rain attacks his base. This time he is able to kill 1 peasant. Because of Rain's shitty harassment, Insomnia doesn't bother building a single tower and goes straight over to Rain's base. While he does lose a few units, Insomnia is able to keep Rain away from his fragile economy. Instead of teching, Rain goes for an expansion of his own. At this point, Insomnia is pumping units from 2 Arcane Sanctums and a barracks. He quickly amasses a 65 food army and takes down the Expo, giving him the victory.
Game 1 of Hot against Remind on Terranus Stand started with Hot expanding at Tier 2, while Remind went for Druids of the Talon. Remind caught Hot creeping and went after his base, taking out 2 Moonwells before the battle. Although Remind is forced to run, his army is still equal to Hot's. The Moonwell kills gave Hot a significantly smaller army going into the final battle. Hot never had the time to use his expansion as Remind takes Game 1. Game 2 on Echo Isles is truly a mirror match as both players go for Tier 3 and Bears. We join the game in the 11th minute where both players have 50 food of bears. Remind gets 4 bear kills while saving all of his own. Remind rides the 4 bear lead to victory, giving World Elite a 2-1 advantage.
In Game 1 of Sky against Fire, Sky goes flying machines, which demolish Fire's Griffins and Dragonhawks. After winning the air battles, Sky easily wins the ground battle, taking Game 1. In Game 2, Fire attempts to expand, but Sky demolishes it. Fire is no match for Sky's level 5 Archmage. Sky's victory puts World Elite through to the next round with a 3-1 win, while Schroet Commandos moves down to the losers bracket. Seed, what happened to SK in this clan war?
Well, the combination of Lin, Remind, and Sky is just too good for them. They have no one who can really compete at that level. Now, Insomnia has been at that level for a long time, so he can pick up